This MrBeast drama is never ending. If you go online right now, you can see dozens of articles talking about MrBeast. And if he didn't have enough to deal with as it is, the New York Times came out with this article, and it's very long and it's very bad. Willing to die for MrBeast and $5 million, the contestants in the internet star's Beast Games expected outlandish challenges and signed contracts that acknowledge risks of serious injury and death. Still, few were prepared for the conditions on set. A couple of months ago, I got a sign-up sheet to apply to be on this TV show that Amazon Prime is doing called Beast Games. I was out of the country for a little bit, and now applications have closed, so I can no longer sign up, and they've already started filming. And what people are saying about the conditions on this show, it's horrific. And I'm gonna go through this entire thing here because I haven't read this entire article. But the gist of this article is that the conditions on the set of this new TV show isn't great. And some people might be saying that's a production problem. This isn't MrBeast's fault. But in the article, people also talk about the conditions of MrBeast's actual YouTube channel as well. Jimmy Donaldson, better known as MrBeast, is a 26-year-old benevolent YouTube star who has racked up hundreds of millions of subscribers. We all know this. He gives out extravagant prizes, he's giving away homes, money, cars. In his most popular video, he gave out $456,000 in his Squid Game in real life video. And these are all things that people may already know about MrBeast. But then the article talks about how MGM Studios came up to MrBeast, and in March, they announced a reality competition show called Beast Games, where the prize was $5 million. And this is the scathing part of the article. During an intake process this year, several contestants told the New York Times that they had been asked whether they would be willing to be buried alive or travel to outer space. One contestant recalled being asked if she would be able to swim to shore if thrown overboard from a boat. Quote, "I understand that such activities may cause me death, illness, or serious bodily injury, including but not limited to exhaustion, dehydration, overexhaustion, burns, and heat stroke," read a line in the contract reviewed by the Times that applicants were required to sign. Imagine going on a competition show like The Challenge, Survivor, Big Brother, and reading a line in the contract saying that you understand that you may die. What they did not expect, however, were the more mundane yet potentially dangerous inconveniences that said had befallen them during the competition. So the people that signed up to be on the show, they signed non-disclosure agreements, so a lot of people weren't allowed to speak openly, but they did anonymously with the New York Times. Over a dozen of people who participated in the first installment of Beast Game said they had not received adequate food or medical care, and that some competitors had suffered injuries from physical challenges. And then it says the event was being filmed for MrBeast's YouTube channel to select the contestants to participate in the Amazon MGM show later this summer. Some contestants left the competition arena on stretchers, though it was unclear if those contestants had faced serious medical conditions. Another described watching fellow contestants vomiting and appearing passing out. There were several hospitalizations. In a text message, a spokesperson for MrBeast said, "The shoot was unfortunately complicated by the CrowdStrike incident, extreme weather, and the unexpected logistics and communication issues." The spokesperson said MrBeast had started a formal review and had taken steps to ensure that we learn from this experience. I understand that it's a brand new show. There's going to be some complications. It's not like a show that's been on the air for a couple of seasons and they figured things out. But MGM, Amazon, they have a lot of money, so they should really be taking extreme precautions when it comes to the health of the contestants. Having several hospitalizations is outrageous. So I guess they asked Amazon, MGM Studios, and they declined to comment. And one contestant said, "We signed up for the show, but we didn't sign up for not being fed or watered or treated like human beings." Fed or watered? Why do they always say watered like they're plants? And then it talks about how the executives at Amazon were excited about the show because it's the biggest prize pool out of any TV show, sitting at $5 million. I'm pretty sure before this, the highest prize pool for a show where somebody has won in one sitting was on Jeopardy for $4 million. We were blown away by his ambition to make Beast Games the biggest reality competition series ever. And shooting for the competition started in July with 2,000 contestants gathered in Nevada at the Allegiant Stadium, home of the Las Vegas Raiders. The article then goes through all the contestants, how they had to hand in their phones and medications, and the age range of the people competing were between Gen Z, and the highest age was 82 years old. But then it talks about how people felt like they were misled. Right from the start, things seemed off. Some contestants said they had originally been told that the competition would have 1,000 participants. And that's exactly what Prime Video had said earlier in the year. 1,000 contestants will compete. But upon arrival, contestants receive a video message from Mr. Donaldson, reviewed by the Times, informing them that the number of contestants was higher. Obviously, there's 2,000 contestants. I don't remember if I said that publicly or not, but there is. A spokesperson for MrBeast said the intention had always been to have 2,000 competitors, but then wind it down to 1,000 people for the Amazon MGM show. Like many of the people who appear in MrBeast's YouTube videos, some contestants said that they needed the cash for things like student loans and medical debts. After learning that they would be competing against twice as many people, some said they felt like they have been misled by their odds of winning. Several contestants also said that they had not been warned about how little they would be given to eat and how infrequently. They described going long stretches without being fed by the production. One said she had gone over 20 hours, both during the games and while they were in Las Vegas before and after filming. Contestants said they had never expected the production to provide them with meals for the duration of their time in Nevada. One meal described by several contestants included a tiny portion of cold oatmeal, one hard-boiled egg, and a few pieces of raw vegetables. They're eating basically slop. It goes on to say that meals throughout the games were small and sporadic. It was difficult to keep track of times without watches or phones, but contestants estimated that they had been fed twice a day, once in the morning and again in the afternoon or evening. But then a spokesperson for MrBeast said that they had been offered 3 meals a day. A huge difference. Missing one entire meal. Oh, this is my favorite part. On a few occasions, production staff passed around small Feastables chocolate bars, a brand created by Mr. Donaldson, and filmed some people eating and praising the candy. Always trying to promote this Feastables candy bar. And it goes on to say that people that had food or dietary restrictions had even more problems getting food. Before the competition, contestants filled out a form detailing their dietary needs and said that all dietary and food restrictions would be, quote, taken into consideration. We were treated horribly. They took on this challenge of 2,000 competitors. They should have known they need an enormous crew to handle this correctly. Exactly. 2,000 people is a lot of people to feed at one time. At least be prepared, especially when you have the budget of Prime. This next section is called Hungry, Bruised, and Bleeding. Oh, no way. Mr. Donaldson presided over the field as the first scenes of the competition were filmed in the stadium. Contestants described how he had stepped out of a shrine-like structure and onto a platform above $5 million in cash as they were instructed to cheer. We're all just looking up at the sky, screaming at him like he's God. Why? This production is outrageous, like he's the second coming of Christ. Okay, then they did opening speeches. MrBeast encouraged the participants to speak up and ask for help. And then, oh, they had a psychologist on site. That's good. A psychologist also introduced himself to the competitors at the outset, explaining that health and safety were priorities on set. Several contestants said that when they had sought out production staff members for assistance with medical care, food, and hygiene issues, the staff members were often not helpful and appeared disorganized. Some staff members yelled and cursed at contestants. Despite reassurance that the contestants' medications would be distributed to them when needed, several contestants said they had not received their medication on time. Oh shoot. Including one contestant who needed insulin, instead receiving it hours or even days after their scheduled dose times. This is getting worse and worse. One contestant said that she had initially been denied the food she required to take her medication and had been told by staff members that she didn't actually need to eat. After asking repeatedly, she was given half a banana. Usually when you take medication, you shouldn't do it on an empty stomach. So being told that you don't need to eat is outrageous. Contestants were instructed to supply the production staff with a Ziploc bag containing 5 days worth of undergarments, which would be distributed to contestants once the games were underway. Oh my god. But several contestants said they were waited hours or even days to receive their clean underwear. I am so glad that I was not a part of this show. Oh my goodness. When my sister sent me this initial application, I was like, I'm 100% going to do this, but I did not know the conditions were going to be as bad as they. One woman said that she had a group of contestants who were menstruating during the event and had asked production staff about getting their underwear more quickly. She had been told that it was not a medical emergency, and she recalled that a nearby member of production staff had laughed at the woman's pleading. Gross. Why would they do this? The last part of the article is about the contestants during the game. Contestants felt that the staff were overwhelmed by the volume of competitors. Oh yeah, of course. In addition to the behind-the-scenes issues, things did not appear to run much more smoothly when it came to the competition itself. First challenge involved 5 teams of 400 people pulling ropes attached to 10,000-pound weights as fast as possible. That's too many people! The issues began when they were broken into teams. A scramble for team pennies quickly became chaotic and frightening. Several said describing a crush of people pushing and shoving other contestants while the production staff was unable to calm the crowd. One contestant described hyperventilating amid the scene. Another had said she had been almost horizontal and had been feared of being trampled. Having a show that has 2,000 people, breaking them into teams of 400, that's way too many people. Why don't you start small and then scale it up as the show goes on in the future? Some male contestants refused to pass pennies to female contestants, with the results that one of the teams was predominantly women. Several people interviewed for this article, they had felt they had not gotten a fair chance of winning the prize money. Yeah, of course. One contestant said that she had left the stadium bruised and bleeding after being injured and eliminated in the first challenge. She was handed $1,000 in stack of dollar bills as a consolation prize, but said she had to hand the money back to producers after the cameras were off. Competitors were told they would receive their real payments later. Oh gosh. This article came out at the beginning of August, and since then, she had not been paid. And remember, they started filming this in July. While contestants were free to leave the competition at any time, many stayed despite the conditions, hoping to win the grand prize. Those who made it past the first challenge were given toiletry kits. Oh great, perfect, now they can clean themselves. And sleeping bags, and slept on the stadium turf floor. Contestants said it was difficult to get much sleep during the games, noting they had often been expected to sleep during daylight hours in the sunny stadium and film challenge takes at nights. One contestant said she had experienced that difficulty given that they had often been elements of sleep deprivation in MrBeast's previous competitions. The 1,000 participants who made it through all 4 challenges in the stadium without being eliminated are now prepared for the next stage of the competition, which is being set to film in Canada in early August. So they filmed the first part of the show, and if you made it through, you had to go to Canada to film the second part. I don't know why you would continue. This sounds terrible, but I guess people want the $5 million. But against 1,000 people? In a screenshot from a group chat provided to the Times, some of the remaining contestants appeared unbothered by the experience. They had signed a contract that they were willing to die for this. Yeah, that's everything that's come out so far about the first part of Beast Games that is supposed to be coming on Prime soon. Like I said, this article is on the New York Times, and apparently 100 or so people came forward to talk to the Times to corroborate this story. But realistically, would you sign something saying that you're willing to die for $5 million? Probably not.